Operation Sea Lion, the dream of invading Britain and Hitler's first defeat. Part 1. The intoxication of victory after France collapsed, June 1940. France, one of the greatest powers in Europe, had fallen. In just a few short weeks, the Nazi German army had crushed the defensive line the French once believed to be impregnable. Paris fell. The French government was forced to sign the surrender document in the utmost humiliation in the Compiègne forest, the very place where Germany had signed its surrender in 1918, a symbolic revenge. In the dim darkness of the war room at the General Staff headquarters, Adolf Hitler sat alone, silently staring at the map stretching across Europe. He took a deep breath. Unbelievable. Germany had defeated Poland, subdued Northern Europe, smashed the Netherlands and Belgium, and now France had been humiliated. Hitler whispered like a man hypnotizing himself, "We are invincible." In his mind, victory was no longer the result of strategy or luck. Hitler began to believe that he had been chosen by God, that he was the destiny of Germany. Part 2. The illusion of genius and the deification within the Nazi machine. When German troops marched through the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, Hitler stood silently before the statue of Napoleon. The French bowed their heads in shame, and Hitler triumphed. He believed that personal will could bend reality. And more dangerously, the German generals also began to believe so. Famous names such as Hermann Göring, Wilhelm Keitel, Alfred Jodl, Gerd von Rundstedt, Erich von Manstein, all had to admit that the bold plan through the Ardennes forest, an idea Hitler pushed, had brought a miraculous victory. In the diary of General Franz Halder, it was written, "Every time he makes a decision, I am astonished because the result matches exactly what he predicted." Thus formed an extremely dangerous psychology, absolute obedience. The sober voices warning that Germany lacked the strength for a long war were drowned in the intoxication of victory of an entire nation. Hitler had become a man who no longer knew fear. Part 3. The last fortress of Europe. Hitler raised his eyes to the map. To the west, Britain, a lonely island nation separated from France only by the English Channel. To the east, the vast, cold Soviet Union. Hitler closed his eyes. He decided, first, Britain must be subdued. And thus a new symphony of invasion was written, Operation Sea Lion. After France collapsed, Hitler almost dominated Western Europe. Only Britain remained standing. But Hitler did not truly want to land immediately. In his thinking, the British were Aryan blood brothers. Hitler hoped that with pressure alone, Britain would sign a peace treaty, accept Germany as master of the continent. But he was wrong. Part 4. Churchill, the man who never surrendered. Prime Minister Winston Churchill was not the coward Hitler expected. He declared before Parliament, "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the fields. We shall fight in the streets and on the hills. We shall never surrender." Those words turned Britain into a spiritual fortress. People dug bomb shelters. Children were evacuated from London. The Home Guard, a volunteer force, was formed of the elderly, workers, even students. Britain trembled, but did not submit. Part 5. The landing plan. Hitler's dangerous dream. Operation Sea Lion was projected to include 39 divisions, 250,000 troops, 2,000 transport ships, nearly 600 landing craft. But the problem was, Germany did not have a strong enough navy. Admiral Erich Raeder fiercely opposed it. He warned, "If the Royal Navy is not destroyed, a landing will be suicide." Rhine River barges were hastily converted into landing craft. They could sink from only a small storm. Hitler understood that to land, Germany had to control the skies. And he turned to Göring. Part 6. Hitler bets everything on the Air Force. Hitler ordered, "Göring, first you must destroy the Royal Air Force. Destroy radar, airfields, anti-air infrastructure. The fate of the operation depends on you." Göring smiled confidently. He believed the Luftwaffe was the strongest air force in the world. He thought victory would be quick, spectacular, like a display of power. But Britain was not Poland, not France. Britain had something Germany had never faced, a scientific defense system. Part 7. The Dowding System, the eye of God in the sky. Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding built the most modern air defense strategy of the era, chain-home radar covering the coastline. a unified command center, a closed coordination system from radar, command, squadrons. The British knew in advance, attack direction, number of aircraft, time of approach. Britain had only about 700 fighter aircraft on active duty, Hurricane Spitfire, while Germany had more than 2,500 aircraft, but Britain fought over its homeland skies, and it had radar, the decisive advantage. Part 8. The Battle of Britain, 4 life and death phases. Phase 1. Probing, June, early July. Germany scouted, attacked ships, blockaded the channel. Phase 2. Attacking radar and coastal airfields, 10/7 to 7/8. The Luftwaffe attacked ports, radar stations, airfields. Southern England's sky became hell. British pilots died day by day, but radar held firm. Phase 3, the decisive blow, 8/8 to 6/9. Germany bombed air bases, fuel depots, aircraft factories. The RAF was nearly exhausted. Then an incident occurred. A German aircraft mistakenly bombed London. Churchill retaliated with the bombing of Berlin. Hitler raged and issued the fatal order: shift the target from airfields to cities. That saved Britain. Airfields were repaired, squadrons reorganized, the RAF revived. Phase 4, September 15th, Battle of Britain Day. Germany went all in. Hundreds of German aircraft crossed the channel, but Britain was ready. Spitfires and Hurricanes rose like silver arrows. The sky exploded in fire, smoke, and anti-aircraft bursts. When sunset fell, 56 German aircraft were shot down. Goering was stunned. Hitler fell silent. Europe understood. Britain still stood firm. Part 9. The first defeat and Hitler's fury. The campaign lasted until the end of October. Germany lost more than 700 aircraft and 2,600 pilots. Britain lost nearly 900 aircraft. But Britain held the skies. Churchill spoke his immortal line: "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." A tribute to the young pilots, those who carried the soul of a nation into the sky against the darkness. Operation Sea Lion was postponed indefinitely. This was the first time Hitler was stopped, and he needed someone to blame. The first was Goering. Hitler shouted, doubted, lost faith. The general staff became gloomy and divided. But instead of awakening, Hitler turned eastward. He believed that defeating the Soviet Union would force Britain to surrender. A new mistake began to form, and it would lead Germany to destruction. A new door opened, but behind it was a blood-soaked road. Operation Barbarossa. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it useful, don't forget to leave a comment and watch more videos on the channel to support it. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.